Alright, folks, today have I got a treat for you guys. Because today we are going back, in fact, to the ABiMe series, which I haven't played since, like, what, 2021? Back when we played Birth Me Code, which is actually the second game of the series. I forget why sort of 2 over 1 that time, but I guess it was an episode at the time, I can't remember. Regardless, it has been too long. I was intending to play it last year, but then things came up. And since we actually have some exciting news in the ABiMe front, and that is my capture doesn't want to work. There we go. Hold on. And that is that the third game, Decide for God, is actually coming out this year, I believe. Yeah, see, Birth Me Code was second, Head As Code was first. But this Head As Code is actually a remake of the original Head As Code. But yeah, might as well get the whole series out of the way. In general, I think the conventional wisdom is that they don't mind if you start Birth Me Code before Head As Code, but Head As Code is the first in the story. But they do rather hope that you play the preceding 2 before the final of the trilogy, because it is a Scared me notification. Normally, when boo-doo-doo comes up midstream, that means stream has dropped. And instead, all we have is a Stream Deck could update. The old buttons that I use to push around here. That could wait. But yeah. 2021 we did Birth Me Code, and I loved it. And so today, we are going to start with the first game, remade. Good old Mira Lamoon. Also, if one might not have noticed, new environs, playing musical chairs with the rooms again, so move myself into here. Hopefully the acoustics are okay. Hopefully not as echoey and distant as I think the reason it was distant and echoey before was because I headed over here, and while the bars on OBS were generally in the high and ups, it was high and ups on distant and echoey sound because the mic was physically distant. Audio is a weird thing. Alright, so the one thing is though, that I, because it has been a couple of years, I don't exactly remember as much from Birth Me Code. I remember we were a person in a death game in a school, if that sounds familiar. And there was a cast of characters in masks. And the puzzles were pretty fun, except for when I got confused by the spelling of 40. And let's see. Some back and forths, some locks, some betrayals. And then a big ending revelation. With folks I scarcely recognize. But that's okay because they came from the first game, so it kind of helps out then. That we are playing the first game now might spark my memory. And worst case scenario, if I need to, we could always go back to it. So how about we just jump on into it, because I gave the options a look. Did pretty alright. Music, sound, speech even. I'm going to give normal text speed a go. And because this is 2023 me, 2023 me is a little less inclined to read every single line of text. So we'll see what speech is. Let's get in. Darkness. Should I turn my light off to simulate this darkness? Life begins with darkness and ends with darkness. Is this gonna be like the snail in ZTD and end up being like the overarching theme for this one? Give myself a quick tech check. Oh yeah, with the musical chair rooms. Decide to treat myself to putting the desktop computer on the desktop and not on the floor to gather dust. So chat, you've gone from over there to over here now. Buttons. Classic video game protagonist never bothers opening their eyes. Making me think that he woke up in a dark and dingy environs. Or maybe he did. Is this the same bar from Birth Me Code? It has been a while, so I can't remember it perfectly, but there was a bar, and there might have been a plot. Our first 3 friends to make. Jasmine in green text. Can I click on that? I have logs, quit, options, hide, and auto. I think it's just highlight for important things. If I click it, that's fast as the text. I remember, you were at the end of the end of Birth Me Code, right? Were you hiding in Wolf? I recognize the green eyes, the eye things, the piercings, chromatic, meridian, chromatic meridian, bichromatic meridian. That's where was that? Where have I seen bichromatic meridian last? It was in relation to this series. But I can't remember. Okay, where was I? Have to go soon. The talk about me? Keeping watch over me, they're so nice. And he seems to know Jasmine already. I keep saying he, because I'm he, but I don't know who we are yet. Like in the previous game, I'm pretty sure we were she. Oh, I just realized they're both wearing collars. Should I get one too? For 4 years. Okay, hold on. Got the world famous notebook back. Where's my pencil? It was right here. There we go. Good old 0.5 millimeters. Okay, so Jasmine. We knew from 4 years ago. You know this is gonna come up again. Childhood friend? And nothing more. Don't you say that, unnamed protagonist. We've seen Toko make a memorial. Unlike the other side of the country. You mean like Vancouver? And you're Marco? Okay, Jasmine, Marco. Roommates, okay. So Marco is roommates This bit I probably haven't got it right down. I'm just so accustomed to, I've been trained. It's my Pavlovian response from the first game to write this stuff down as soon as I see it. Where's my notes from the first one? I'd say first one, but it was the second game. Swan Song, Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song. Easter egg hiding map. Because I always forget where I hide them. Boyfriend scribbles. Sketches of a map I was making mask I was making myself is part of the reason why it has been 2 years since I last played ABiMe is because I figured for a series like this, after Birth Me Code wowed me so much, if I was going to get back into it, I was going to make a mask of my own. But it turned out that's a rather complex thing to do. Like I figured cardboard, right? Cardboard for the material, got plenty of boxes, but then wanted like whatever material for the face part so I could see through it. And looking up the best materials for that was a process, but I just couldn't be bothered. But the sketches are in here. What's this one? R08653 Miss. This is mostly math. Which was mostly math. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Remember all this. That is why my initial thought is I see details, write down the details. Because it turned out that every single one of these things is important in some way. But the game's only just started. I probably don't need to paranoidly scribble every last thing just yet. Okay. Jasmine, childhood friend. Marco, roommate. I should hope my childhood friend and my roommate aren't my jailers. My first thought, honestly, was I'll look after him next or whatever. Is that here I am, the last one out, sleeping on the couch. They just want to guard over me. Marco, pretty smart. That is an information we need to keep in mind. Nah, man. It's alright, even if he makes a joke of it, that's just a bounce. A master's degree in stuff that sounds like mathematics. Alright. And yet, he still needs to split rent with us. That is the economy that we live in. The landlord's office, covered in booze. What does that say back there? You don't know what you have till it's gone. With a symbol on the wall. I feel like I should scribble down that symbol. But if it's an art symbol, it'll come up several times, I'm sure. A new person. Because I know you two now. Who are you, big fellow? Little boy, so we are he. Look down and realize, was it little? That's not right, I'm 24! How many was there at the beginning again? There was a group of, was it 3? Eyes are simply closed. On a couch. 3 people, okay. That's everyone then. Simon. Oh, I'm Simon. So Jasmine, Marco, Ray. Because they're close, it turns out the time I've been sleeping, my friendship's been replaced. Man, Simon, you have got to drop your insecurities. All of you are in a bizarre situation here. If you need to ask for information, ask for information. If you get teased, that's just a bad. Poor Simon is just insecure. He even recognizes that others would have quieted that part of him, and that this is a weakness of his own. How much you want to bet that this is going to come up and bite him in the butt, like 40 hours into the game? He always listened to it, he says, with resignation and a bit of personal shame. At least he's got the introspection. A 9th person, that means that there are 5 other people apart from us, one of which is missing. I like that his beep speech is much deeper. It's more of a baritone compared to it kind of reminds me of like Don't Starve Together, where everyone's got the little brass instruments associated with their voices. Na 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 na. Burr, burr, burr. Oh, they're even dating now. My roommate stole my childhood friend away from me. This is the worst Tokimeki game. We talk about us. Alright. In that case, never mind then. Best Tokimeki game. Oh, he did have feelings, but he was never able to confess before school leaving day. Because of the cowardly part of him that he listens to far too often. No hiding it anymore. Okay, Simon. Now is the time to listen to it. This isn't the time for love thought confessions. Get a grip, Simon. She's not. Oh, he biffed it. Simon, that is what somebody says when they are obviously crushing Hardyman at 24. You could have rolled with it, man. Is she speaking metaphorically, train and station? Because my initial thought is speaking metaphorically, but I don't know what I woke it up into. Last time was a school with very non-school rooms, so who is to say? Oh, she's also blushing. Thinking about doing something horrible. That is my roommate, folks. Has he got a new tattoo that he's nursing? Because I noticed the bottle of lotion in his pocket is now in his hand. And he's probably lotioning his tattoo to keep it fresh. Okay, it's a flight of stairs, and train and station is probably metaphorical. Oh, so Marco's a punk in this scenario. Do I get a choice? Because the previous game, I say previous. Because Birth Me Coat was all about the choice of who to go with. Jasmine said no. Jasmine doesn't want to mix it up. A minute, that's not much time at all. Is that going to be a minute long enough to get some details out of Marco, or give in to my apprehensions, and that the game has to begin? Enough time to talk to Marco a little. I wanted to die to a horrible joke or two. Okay, so is that the initial choice? The initial choice, the snail that disrupts the entire timeline. To spend this minute talking to Marco, or to chase puppy-like after my crush. A quick tit-trot on active searches, of course, let's try it. It's probably click on the objects of interest, but I'll take the tutorial. I want to see how this game tutorializes things. This isn't my first rodeo, but show me how it works in this game. Moments for you to decide the order in which event happens. Numerous interactive segments called active searches, or AS. Head, active search code. Now I was talking about choices and interactivity. But that makes you wonder if there isn't a mutual exclusivity, like if I choose to analyze a couch and the water fountain, or the water bottle. If that's going to take time away from, say, looking at the painting, or asking Marco a bunch of questions. Probably not. Look will never progress the story. Okay. That is my question answered right away. Thank you, Mira Lamoon. May need to select it to talk or use icon to progress. Alright. So looking is free, and looking might lead to talk or use. Got it. Both of which do progress the story. Talk does not necessarily progress the story, but use always does. So never progresses, always progresses, sometimes progresses. Got it? On subsequent playthrough, it gets a check mark. I thought this would just be like, okay, you looked at this already. Checked off, you don't got it. You did this conversation already. Checked off, don't got it. But you're talking for subsequent playthrough. Now I'm curious. For that reason. Because normally I see checkmark, and checkmark means you've done this already, dummy. Here it simply means you have made this choice in a past life, but that doesn't mean you can't not do that choice if necessary. Just an indicator for text rent. Talk to Marco or look at then use the stairs. Mostly optional, huh? When Simon is within an escape room, the active searches are obligatory. You bet I do. I love repeating tutorials. Aww. That is a Miracle Moon tongue-in-cheek humor. This is long enough already. Just for the way this is written, I am tempted to do it again. Yeah. Okay. So talk to Marco, or chase after my crush puppy dog like. Well, I can't examine anything else for this tutorial. Oh, they weren't kidding for this tutorial. Those are the two options. I thought it'd be maybe two main options, with the ability to glance at supplementary stuff. But I guess because this is the first choice of the game, they want to keep it simple. I will look. Looking is free. Nah, Matt. We're gonna catch up with her anyway. Let's talk to Marco. I'm gonna John Malkovich this guy and swallow his fear for him. See, that's what was in grade school for me. My first name was V. I had a classmate in grade school whose name was also V. So he was VA, I was VM. They could always go the 1 and 2 route. M&M. Oh, Marco. Now I see what Simon was worried about. Look at that smirk. Look at that smirk as he says it. This is a man who doesn't just make bad jokes all the time, but he relishes in them. He relishes in his jokes as others relish in an especially bad fart. Everyone else is groaning because the elevator door has closed, they can't escape, and he's like, yeah, that was me, not even hiding it. He is taking pride in it. I was just about to make a Midas but better joke. They've beaten me to it. But at least we touched base with our roommate, which I'm sure puts both of us at ease a little bit. Okay, down we go. Grab that doorway. A pizza every week for 6 months. He's getting it small.